I haven't seen my brother in 12 years. And he died 10 days ago, so I didn't get a chance to say, I forgive you, I love you. I'm just really guilty about that.
Yeah. You can let that tear out. You don't have to hold it back. That's part of when you have grief, when you have that, what you're saying basically is I held on to something I didn't want to hold on to. So don't hold on to the tears when they come, because that's the body's way of saying, I'm going to let it out, right? I'm going to let it out now. I'm going to allow that feeling out of my body. And, you're holding tension around that, and it needs to come out. And you only have, we like to say, so many holes. Right? It needs to come out one of them, and there's 2 good ones right there. Let's use them. Right? You let that come out. You let that come out. The beauty of this is your brother doesn't hold anything against you. It's you holding it against yourself, or repeating the fears or the angers or the frustrations you have within yourself that need to be dealt with. If you can imagine your brother saying, oh, that doesn't bother me, that's a truthful thing. Because on a soul level, everything's for growth and everything's an opportunity. When you're out of the body, you know this clearly. When you're in the body, you try to know it. When you're out of the body, you just go, oh, really? All that? Okay. Really, you do. Okay? So, it's you. It's your package, right? So he's in the equation, but if we slide him off to the side a little bit, and imagine he's standing here saying, it's not bothering me. How does that affect your experience of it?
I'll feel free, just peaceful.
Because then instead of you think of him and you think of this, right? We'll just use this hand symbol too. You think of, like when you sat down, you immediately had tears because of this. If he says, no, sister, you don't have to have that. Then you're free to grieve his physical absence honestly, without this taking the place of the authentic grieving.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Because people will use, I didn't get to say I'm sorry, I didn't get to say I forgive you, I didn't get to say I love you, I wasn't there when they died. That's one that really comes up a lot, right? The memory of that loved one becomes that. Right? And when the memory of the loved one simply becomes that, you don't have the actual access to your authentic experience of connection you had with them. It's like it replaces the relationship. It's the loudest thing. We talk about you have a band, right? It's the loudest instrument in your band. We like bands that are all balanced, so you get to hear all instruments. When you sat down, the loudest instrument in your band was, I made this mistake with my brother, and now he's out of the body, and I can't fix it. You could have sat with that for 40 more years. That could have been his legacy in your life. We don't see that there's any need for you to have that be his legacy in your life. Now, the experience we have just now is that if that's not the legacy, then the truth is the legacy. And the truth is something happened that you guys didn't see each other for this period of time. That's the truth. So instead of the grief over, I didn't say I forgive you, it's, how about I forgive myself for how I related to you for the last 12 years? Or I realize that the thing that broke us up matters so much less now that I realize that that's the last time I was going to see you, or the last time. Right? That truth. Now the thing with studying truth that deeply, that can sting. Yeah. And it stings because it's an opportunity for you to know yourself. It doesn't sting because it's something you can never fix. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But it can sting. It can sting in like, wow, I know I don't have to say to him, I forgive you, but I do have to forgive myself for having been stubborn, been whatever words you assign to yourself. But the great thing is that when you heal grief on that level, then you have the opportunity to grow from it, rather than just stew and stew and stew and beat yourself up and feel horrible for 40 more years about how you dealt with your brother. Because as a soul, he doesn't want you to stew. He wants you to grow. We can guarantee you that. And that's what you want for yourself, too. Okay. So you don't let yourself off the hook by going, it doesn't matter that I did that. That's not what we're talking about. But you don't get to do 40 years of hitting yourself on the back with the sharp, whip, because he died before you got around to saying, look, it's okay. You don't get to do that. That to us is just a way to silence yourself and to stop your growth. Do you want to say anything more about that?
I think
that's what you needed to hear.
That's what
you needed to hear. Yeah. And you look lighter, guys. It's amazing when we talk to people, the amount of change we see across here. Like it happened with her big time, right? Across here. The part of you that has a lot to share with the world is not going to be held hostage to, I blew it with my brother, I suck, I'm horrible, I'm not a good person for the rest of your life. But you're going to have to confront the part of you that decided to spend 12 years not speaking to your brother. Not for his benefit, for your own. And in that confrontation, we just request that you love yourself through it rather than hate yourself through it. Like, yeah, I did that, I can't change it. Here's how I would handle it now. Here's what I learned by not having the opportunity to change it with him. And he may not have ever been able to hear I forgive you from you. Right? And so his crossing out of the body has actually given you an opportunity to release yourself from holding this 12-year pattern in a way that only requires your relationship to yourself to do it. That's the beauty of this. You only have to relate to yourself in this process. And his support now, because he's out of the body, is 100%. Whereas if in the body, it probably would have been butting heads, or else you wouldn't have done it for 12 years.
Yeah, that's true. It's totally true.